Charles by Shirley Jackson, told in the first-person point of view from Lori by Ms. Rapp. The day I started kindergarten was the day I got rid of my mom's corduroy overalls with bibs and began wearing blue jeans with a belt. I walked to school that day knowing my mom wanted me to wave goodbye to her, but I knew I was a big kid and didn't need to be a little kid anymore. After the first day of kindergarten, I came home and slammed the front door and shouted, "Isn't anybody here?" At lunch, I didn't speak very nicely to Father. I spilled my sister's milk and told my parents that the teacher told us we couldn't say the name of Lord in vain. "How was school today, Lori?" Mom asked elaborately, casual. I told her, "All right." Father asked if I learned anything. "I didn't learn nothin'," I said. "The teacher spanked a boy, though," I said, "for being fresh." "What did he do? Who was it?" Mom asked. I thought for a moment. I was scared I was going to get in trouble if I told the truth, and told them it was me who was being fresh. I knew they would get mad at me and would probably make me stay in my room for days. "It was Charles. He was fresh." The teacher spanked him and made him stand in the corner. He was awfully fresh. My mom asked me what he did, but I just slid off and left the room when my father was still trying to talk to me. I wasn't going to tell them absolutely everything, now was I? The next day at school I had been bad again and actually hit the teacher, and I was spanked. So when I came home I told my parents that it was Charles who had been bad. I told them that Charles had hit the teacher. They were asking a lot of questions, so I told my dad, "Look up." "What?" my father said, looking up. I continued, "Look down. Look at my thumb. Gee, you're dumb." The third day I told my parents that Charles bounced a seesaw onto the head of a little girl and made her bleed, and the teacher made him stay inside all during recess. I also told her that on Thursday Charles had to stand in a corner during story time because he kept pounding his feet on the floor. Friday, Charles, well, but really me, was deprived of blackboard privileges because he threw chalk. I kept telling them all the bad things, but using Charles, even though there was no real Charles. Monday was the first parent-teachers meeting, and I had never been so happy in my life that my mom nor my dad could go. I was safe. After a few more stories of telling my mom the truth about what I had done, but blaming them on Charles, Mom asked, "What are they going to do about Charles, do you suppose?" I shrugged and said, "Throw him out of school, I guess." When I told my mom this, it got me thinking real hard. I was scared that my mom and dad would find out the truth sooner or later. So I began being nice at school, and I helped the teacher a lot. She even gave me an apple. I told my parents about how great Charles had been. For the next PTA meeting, my parents wanted to make sure they met with Charles's mother, which made me very nervous. How was I going to make sure they didn't find out the truth? I waited at home while my mother went to the PTA meeting, but I knew it wasn't going to be good. She came home and grounded me for eternity. I wasn't allowed to do anything until what seemed like forever. My mom said she was very embarrassed to find out that Lori, me, was in fact Charles. I really don't think she will ever forgive me. It just goes to show you'll get caught no matter what you're doing, and there probably won't be a Charles to blame it all on. You just listened to Ms. Rapp's story of Charles by Shirley Jackson, told in the first-person point of view from the view of Lori.